What's up, everybody? This is Sean Sakura. We're back with another Street Talk. Today we have the one and only Cody Cross from Cross Promotions. What's up, bro? How you doing?
How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Yeah, thanks for coming in here. Thanks for coming, sitting down, hanging out. I kind of wanted to hear your story a little bit. Maybe we could just, you're not from Denver. I mean, I
hmm
know that. Maybe we could kind of start there, like where, because music started out there, right? In Alabama?
Well, originally, a lot of this music stuff started out for me, at least, out here when I came to Denver. So
Okay.
I had to like learn and go to school and do stuff in like a expedited course. You know what I'm
You
saying?
didn't have any involvement with music out there at all?
No, I was
Okay.
just like, actually before here, I was like playing football, played college football, played semi-pro football, and then from there,
What
just
happened to that? Did you just
Oh,
moved
well,
on in
my
life?
last contract when it came, I used to play defensive tackle, which is the man in the middle, for people that don't know. And a lot of the problems is like contracts, things like that with semi-pro. Some places don't want to pay, some do. You know, I used to make pretty good money doing it, and
Yeah.
but there comes a time when you get older, age plays a part.
You're just getting torn
Um,
up?
Well, I think that eventually your body aches,
Yeah.
and so you just get sick and tired of taking certain things, and so you just want to be the best version of yourself every time. Um, so there's a lot of jumps and hurdles when it comes to stuff like that. So a lot of money getting back in shape, things like that. So
Was that a tough decision to quit that? And
yeah, it was very tough. I actually cried about it, to be
yeah.
honest with you, because you got to think I've been playing since I was like 6 years old.
So that was kind
And
of part of your identity. You were
yeah,
like Cody the
exactly.
football player. And that's kind of how you were known.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, throughout, I went to the Nike Spark Combine when I was in high school.
Very cool.
I grew up where football is a religion at. I grew up where uh, people just over football, stupid stuff happens. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, Raised in my family, football was brought up in my family. I was the first one on my dad's side to really go and play college football. My cousin on my dad's side, he was going to get like a full scholarship offer, but then on his last game of his senior season, he shattered his shoulder. So
Oh, that
yeah.
sucks. Was there a lot of pressure from your family to like play football or?
Um. Well. When it comes to my family, it's kind of a little separated a little bit. So my I would say like the people I call my family, they were very supportive. My best friend actually brought me to like got me to come back and play college football
Hmm.
when I was 21. So, because I went to Job Corps, then after Job Corps, I studied business in Job Corps, and then I walked on at ETSU, East Tennessee State University. So, yeah.
So you quit that. Did you know what you were going to move into or what you wanted to do? Did you have a new passion after you left football?
Um, I just kind of worked,
Yeah.
do the same thing, security.
Just went through life.
Really wasn't
Yeah.
really for sure where it was gonna go. Um, then I reconnected with Mike.
Which,
Um,
if you, yeah, you stop right there for just a second, because that's why I thought music must have started out there, because I assume he was doing music out there.
no,
He wasn't doing music either? What?
no.
Okay.
He did some stuff in Alabama. Probably by himself when he was like younger and stuff. But as far as like professionally, like on a business level, paperwork, the whole 9 yards, I'd say it didn't really happen until I came out here, you know what I mean, and started learning the business and starting to build my network and things like that on a
So, yeah, where
business
was the
type of level.
motivation there to even do that?
Um, well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even want to do this
Yeah.
when I first started. I just wanted to do security
Yeah.
because security was just kind of something that I enjoyed doing. I was at the clubs. I used to do security at Status, Roof Bar, you know, a lot of interesting clubs in the area, you know.
It's like venues. So
And
you're in the circle. You're in the community, I
right,
guess, of like music and things like that.
exactly.
And
And
then,
so during that time, I ran a brand. It was called the High House.
mhm.
It was a clothing brand that I was working on, and so I ended up on the side because I was making good money. I was like, oh man, I used to spend like $1,200 just on shirts. Like I think it's
Yeah.
like 25 shirts or something like that, and
What year were we
um,
talking?
it's
When was?
like 2021, 2020.
Okay.
Well, like 2021, 2020, yeah, something like that, 22 maybe. Yeah. Um, it was like right before I met you.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
realizing that now. Yeah.
yeah, and so I met with uh I think I got a real big advantage, honestly, through doing that with the networking, because I got to meet people like Kevin Kanes, and I got to meet you know, let's see here, what's his name, JP. He owns Dro, and I met a lot of different people. I kind of look back on that venture and I'm like, maybe I should have kept doing it because I had a lot. Like, I had Jules Santana hit me up in my
Yeah.
DMs.
The clothing thing,
Yeah.
which is like a really hard thing to, I feel like, get recognized
Well,
for.
I think yes and no. And
Yeah.
the reason being is because in mine, I created something different. It was like a representation of where I was from.
Hmm.
So it wasn't really about business for me. Like, it was more like, oh, hey, this is where I'm from. This is a representation of what I come from. You know what I'm saying? It was a representation of the Southern trap, which is how I grew up. You know what I mean? So we had like a high house. So we'd have like the trap house with a couch in the front with some pipes and stuff hanging out on the front porch, like old. You know what I'm saying? A lot of detail, but a lot of people don't understand. The more detail and the more colors you put in this stuff, the more expensive or the more
Oh yeah, getting
like,
prints and stuff
yeah,
like that.
it gets pretty crazy. It's
I've seen some images. I think he posted some stuff maybe a few months ago or something because you talked to me about it, and then when you posted something, I remember seeing it. Yeah, it was look good looking stuff. Is that on hold or is that done? Like it's
I think
not
that's
coming.
something I will venture out into in the future
Yeah.
still. Um, I do think it's interesting now that there's a dispensary called what is it? The Trap House. That's what it's called now.
Yeah.
So, and they have pretty close to what my logo was. Um, so I do think it's pretty interesting. Um,
But if
but
you
I
come
don't.
out with it now, are they gonna say you ripped them off or?
Well, here's what's so crazy. I hate to put it like this, but people like Squizzy Taylor, I hit them up about it. DJ Hardaway, I hit them up about like wearing my brand when I had it. I was very vocal. I had Glorilla
Yeah.
wear some of my stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I made her a jacket and it
Yeah.
said the High House on the back of it. So it's like, when you get to that kind of point, it's kind of like you can't separate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can't really say that I stole the idea off of them.
It's on record that you had
Right.
it out. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, but we even made like our own like Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? And which was kind of interesting. It was like a Charizard, but it was like a bong with a marrow, like a leaf and stuff like that. It was very interesting, but the only reason I didn't like make that into any shirts or anything is because I was scared that it would be like a trademark kind of thing, and I was like,
Did you use that character or did you make a new character?
no, we had that character, and then like
Okay.
things that just like popped into our head is what we
No,
were
I'm like
creating.
surprised I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
Like somebody
we
else
called
do
it
that.
like a Canizar is what
Yeah.
we called him, and it was definitely my top selling hoodie said cocaine in Japanese, and then
That
said the
was
High
it.
House
Yeah.
through the middle.
You
So.
say we. Who was we?
Well, me and my boy Terrence, you know what
Okay.
I'm saying? We
So
were,
Terrence was a part of that? Yeah.
well, you did a little bit of the artwork, you
Okay.
know what I mean? He didn't really get involved till later on, when I really needed some help, I would say. But, um, other than that, it really just came from me,
Yeah.
really. So the ideas, the thoughts, you know what I'm saying? We even made like a tag, producer tag for if we wanted to be involved in anybody's music. So that's when I really would say I started dabbling into little things like that. Got sponsored by a podcast,
Yeah.
um, things like that. Yeah.
So that was going well, and then what? You stopped,
Yeah,
or
I quit put money into it,
yeah?
and I just started devoting my full time into like learning how to manage artists and um
Well, then so that took over. That took priority,
right,
like
exactly.
artist management.
Yeah.
So tell me about how like that started, where the conversation
Uh,
began.
Mike asked me if I would be his manager, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like, it's nothing but drama. It's nothing but I already knew it was gonna be like a lot of ego kind of stuff,
What
a
kind
lot
of
of
gave you that insight without ever having it? Was it working doing the
security.
oh, just from
Yeah, I
security?
mean, like I met you in the green room. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So like, just like having that understanding, even visiting or being around that already, I already knew. I was like, yeah, this is interesting territory.
Yeah.
I'm cool with doing the security work because to me
So
it's
you're gonna be
easy. But
behind enemy lines if you
right,
start doing weird stuff.
exactly. Yeah, it's like, other than that, you don't. I feel like this business is pretty interesting. The music business used to not be the way that it is today, though. It used to take a lot of money, and it used to take actual talent to get into this business.
Oh, it's more accessible now for sure. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing?
Uh, I think it depends on what kind of level you're talking about, and the reason being is because you know, I think that a lot of artists mess up with even the beginning, because they don't know what they're really getting into.
Yeah.
So you have to distinguish when talking to an artist. Is this a hobby, or do they really want to make this a dream? And the reason I say that is because a lot of your dreamers are going to uh, be what I call a starving artist.
Sure.
They're going to put that extra dollar that they really don't have, but because they have passion into it, they're going to put that kind of money into that area. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think as a hobby, you're not really releasing music as often. It's like a every 3 6 months, maybe once a year type of thing. And there's people that are very talented that they do very good, but it's just a hobby to
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Is it? Because I kind of think that sometimes too. I mean, I'm not gonna make a blanket statement and say
Hmm.
that it's 100% always like that. I feel like in order to really extract the best out of a person, you kind of have to put them in survival mode.
Hmm.
Like you were saying, where people will just spend their last dollar to, get a song recorded or whatever it is that,
Right.
and you dedicate yourself to that. And I think if you've got people where they're like, this is my only option, this has to work because I don't really, I don't know where else where I'm gonna go. If this doesn't work, it kind of pulls something out of them that, or maybe they're willing to take more chances or something. So I don't know.
Right.
Would you agree with that statement? That's kind of what I've seen.
Well, even on like, I just think when you want something really bad,
Yeah,
then you're gonna do what you gotta do, whether that's work 16-hour shifts, whether that's um, try to talk to whoever you can to make that a possibility. You gotta be hungry. You know what I'm saying? This is a dog eat dog kind of industry, you know?
would you say, like you've got that drive in music now? I mean, you said, like a few years back, it wasn't even really something you were really looking at trying to do, but like now it's like, you're pretty pretty busy with it, you know what I mean? Like like you're doing a lot of different things. So,
I think I have the ability to do more, you know
yeah,
what I'm saying? I think that where I'm at currently, I have to be able to, what is the word? As a manager, you're supposed to, the actual title. You know what I'm saying? When we look at an artist manager, it's to be the best uh, representation for your artist. You always have the best interest for your artist. I think that artist managers, they're just in charge of day to day operations. When it comes to a label, to management, to um, tour manager, PR strategist, things like that. I haven't had the real opportunity to really expand into that because um, I don't think that we're there yet. You know what I'm saying? I think that we can be there very soon. Um, but I think that like on an industry type level, you know what I'm saying? Like
You're
you're
talking about
working with
you and Mike,
yeah,
like the team.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
is that you're just need to progress a little bit more to
I
like,
think so, for
yeah,
sure. I think we're definitely getting there on certain aspects. Um, but I think that if I even had the opportunity to even experience that, I think I would already be ready for that kind of opportunity when it comes available because I've been already like learning that for myself. I went back to school to understand this stuff, you know what I'm saying, to understand the music business. I have a I I have a degree from Full Sail from for a music business.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even
Is it
understand,
applicable? Like what you learned there, is it applicable in Denver?
is it clickable here in Denver?
Applicable, like does it is it useful in Denver? Where because I feel like a lot of the like classes and
Hmm.
things like that that you can be taught make more sense for people that live in like LA, New York. Like I don't know that Denver really runs by the same rules as like the main
Hmm.
industries do, you know?
So here's my opinion, and I always start with this. I'll ask you the same question I ask a lot of people. Do you know a music lawyer out here?
No. No.
So in business, that's like the first thing you want to make sure is straight. Legally, entirety, your business name. You always want to have somebody that can represent you. The person who represents me, I get nervous about sometimes because they're in LA versus out here. So you want somebody that's in your area typically, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the first thing I start off with. And I think that Denver, a lot of the stuff that's done is like maybe people have the ability to do it, they just don't do it because they um what is the word? They just don't know if they should show that type of effort to certain artists. You know what I mean?
So when you say to artists, are you talking about like talent buyers and like people like that, like promoters?
Well, I do think that there is some talent buyers that could teach like a class or something. Like, I think that there's producers. There's we do have some good managers out here. It might be a handful, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But what people don't understand is you're not gonna get that information for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had to go to school and I had to pay, let's just say $65,000 to go to school, just as a ballpark figure, um, why would I give that information for free to somebody else?
Sure.
You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? It's kind of like if I had to put the effort in and I had to pay, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you gotta do the same thing I did.
So let's just say, beyond that, there's
Hmm.
like, like the school, college, university,
Right.
whatever. And then there's like lived experiences where you've been in it and you kind of figured the game out like a little bit. Do you think that that information should be gate kept or behind a paywall for like anybody that's just starting or anybody that's trying to level up or
Well, I
like,
think that people should definitely have access to that kind of information for sure. I always tell people like if I'm gonna work with an artist though, like one on one,
hmm
and I'm putting my time and my money into an artist, then I think that's a little different than me being like, hey, what like I'm open to always answering questions. You know what I'm saying? I think that there's a lot of people that offer free game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that artists have to show the effort of wanting to know that kind of information. I
So
don't
you
think
just got
that
to see the determination, I guess, in
right,
them. The
exactly. I don't think it's necessarily about the money whatsoever because I don't want to like say that it's about the money.
yeah.
But I think that I think if you see somebody that really wants to try and really has passion for things, I think it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? Other than trying to like waste your time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, why would I sit here and go over like what a PRO is, or what is a distribution? What's the difference between PRO and distributor? What's the difference between ASCAP and BMI, or TuneCore with DistroKid with what I'm saying? Like, there's so many variables to go over that you can go over, but I think that just to give you a good example, a lot of the people that I look up to
Hmm.
in the management world, they charge like $300 to $600 for a 1 hour consultation.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen some of that kind
You
of stuff.
like me, I'm a very big the manager's playbook kind of fan. That's my favorite YouTube channel right now and podcast.
Yeah.
Because he talks to real managers that have been in the industry that have worked with a lot of different people. That's my favorite, and so that's how I gather a lot of information. But you know, these days it's really different. Um, you could pop off of one song, but
Yeah.
what a lot of people don't understand that a hit is about how much money you're putting into it at the same time because of the marketing cost. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure. Sure. Yeah. A lot of
um,
times, and I've heard that in like interviews with A&R type people or whatever, and they're saying like, oh, we put $250,000 into this song, and that's why it did what it did, or
here's what artists I feel like should be thinking on a business level. So like, let's say you want to present something to a label, say you want to get like signed or whatever, then you got to look at it like you could also look at it like you're gonna pitch something to the label. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I spent let's say I got an EP, right, and I got these songs. Well, I got this producer, this big producer, to mix and master it for $500 a piece. Let's just say that that's the figure, but really it was like $100. You know what I'm saying,
yeah,
or $60, or whatever. So let's say you throw $500 a piece on there. Oh, okay. Well, you put that. You put the album cover cost. You put the overall cost of what it is, but then you got to get paid for what you did, right? So you take the overall cost, and you're like, hey, this is what it's gonna take in marketing to make this a hit, though. You know what I'm saying? So then you like pitch it to them like that. I feel like that's something you can do. I've heard of people doing that
yeah.
and people getting signed. Um, I've heard people that are currently signed and they get a new deal off of doing that. You know what I mean? So
Is
um,
that kind of where you're at with Mike? Just like,
I think that Mike is what we call in the hit factor zone, which means like he can make a hit very soon. I feel like he's already made a hit personally.
hmm
It just needs to be marketed correctly. Um, I feel like Mike can go a very long way. Um, I think that out here in Denver, it can be kind of a struggle for R&B artists out here in Denver. I think that Denver is a great place to live. I love living here in Denver. Denver is a great place to live, make money. Um, it's a great place to travel in and out from. You got
sure, yeah,
the
that's a good position, right in the middle of the
right,
country. So you can,
exactly.
yeah,
Uh, but as far as Denver as a R&B music scene,
yeah.
it's tough. It's very tough.
Are there not opportunities that you guys need, or
Well, here's the way
something
that
else?
I look at it, right? So let's say you want to hop on a show. Let's say, like for instance, we sold over 50 tickets for Aaron Ray, right? At a
Mhm.
certain dollar amount. That's already put in the books. Cervantes already knows that. So an actual talent buyer that brings somebody that actually spends money to bring talent out here already knows that kind of information. We have spent money with different marketing costs. We've been on the drop for, Battle of the Block. Uh, there's several different factors that has been done, but there's other things that haven't been done because um, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like for instance, Westward.
Mhm.
Mike's never been in Westward for top like local artists, local R&B artists you should look at. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I
Yeah.
looked at the list, I was like,
Have you ever
man, this
reached
is
out to any of the people at the Westward?
yeah, I actually tag that lady from now on every time I have a certain stat that's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Like whenever we hit, like over right now we're like at over 200,000 streams overall for his last EP. Um, but we're like at over 100,000 for Spotify.
Yeah.
So every time something like that big comes around, uh, or if we're like opening up for somebody big, I always tag this lady that made the article to just make it a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was very frustrating. I feel like it was a slap in the face, to be honest with you. I do think we could be doing more. Um, I do think I think that next year is definitely a busy year. I hate talking to what I hate doing the most, and what I do see a lot also, is you see artists at the end of the year. They want to be like, "Oh, next year is going to be different than this year." You know what I mean? We kind of see that end of the year, fourth quarter conversation is what I see.
Yeah.
Um, but the fact of the matter is if you didn't start in quarter one and you didn't, jump start from there and was consecutive, then you didn't even have a chance in the race. You know what I'm saying? Um, and the reason I say that is because consistency is key in this game. So that's how I feel, at least.
I think so. I think so. Yeah, definitely. I'd agree with that. I think Mike does have a lot of talent, and it I don't know if it gets the recognition or not. I can't see. You know what I mean? I'm not on that side of the. I'm like a
I
I'm not
think
on
he
that side
has a
of
lot
the
of people
fence or
that
whatever.
like
But
his music, but as far as the recognition goes, he doesn't get it.
yeah.
And I think that's because we are not from here. We've been living here, but we're not
Hmm.
from here. But what people, but we represent the West Coast. Now that we've been here for so long, we do represent Denver because we have been here in the music scene for over 4 years. So,
So you're not the first person to tell me that, and I'm not from here either. I've just been here for like
uh
a really long time.
right.
Um, but other artists have told me that they don't believe that they can go as far as they feel like they should in Denver or maybe Colorado in general. I don't know because they're not from here. Is
Well,
that
well, let me
how
ask
much do you feel
you.
like that's holding you back?
Well, I'll tell you this, right? And I'm really cool with just like putting this out in the open. This is kind of what makes me just like separate myself from a lot of people. I feel like is that I really be telling the truth. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I really just be like putting it out there. Um, so for instance, does it make sense that we have over 200,000 streams overall on our last EP, but not one song? And we've been on Battle of the Block, but we we don't have one song that's ever been on the radio
On
for
any of
the
the
drop.
stations out here?
Other than when DJ Coz was doing stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe Calliewood, small
Yeah.
the stuff like that. But but as far as like the drop, we've been on the Battle of the Block stuff, and we've been on bigger shows, things like that, and we've even sent in stuff to them. But the last time I quit sending stuff into the drop,
Yeah.
and the reason I did is because they would come back and say it was pop, and I was like, so, but this was before they had newer people that came in and took over everything. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, whoever's running this as the coordinator, do they even know what R&B is? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it's kind of crazy for me to have to think like that talking to a radio station that specializes in R&B, jazz, and
They
you know,
said Mike was pop and they didn't want to play pop.
right.
Okay. But
This is when we first came out here, and he was
yeah,
playing what is the name of that song? It was like that tidal wave song. Um,
I'm
trying to
not
think
sure.
what it was called.
But
But we went to the record breakers. Mama Jones loved the song. You know what I'm saying? So it was like none of it made it. Man, I've been in rooms with Atlantic Records.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And so whenever I see and people from Vamp Life, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Vamp Life. Jim Jones, you know what I'm saying? And CEO Larry, Mama Jones, Josh, all those people. I think that those I think that those people are great. They could do a lot, Case was doing really big. I don't know if you remember Case, YG Case.
yeah,
Boy, I feel like that summer when we was doing stuff when all that was going on, they had the summer on fire.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so people want to talk about like gang politics and stuff like that, but I didn't look at that. I looked at it from a bigger. He had a fan base. He had a base that was
I listen to it a lot like that too. It's either it's I like it or I don't like
right,
it, you know.
exactly,
And a lot of times the content isn't really my basis of whether I like it or not.
right. And well, a lot of artists also need to understand that it's not always about what they like. It's about what the fans like.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to ask. I mean, I guess this was a while ago, when they said he was pop or whatever, because that's
Yeah.
what I was going to say is isn't like rap and R&B kind of pop in a way nowadays? Because it is the popular music. You know what I
Well, I
mean?
feel like as an R&B artist, you got to be like a hook person. Like you got to be able to create good hooks. And um the verses, like for instance, the biggest example that I give to people with rap and R&B is like Mozzie and Eric Bellinger.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's when we saw that's an example that I can give where rap and R&B can go together. In a big kind of forum on a West Coast kind of forum. That's one of my favorites I like to listen to as an example. Um, I think that um, I think that R&B should be on more rap shows also. As crazy as that sounds, but
yeah. I don't know if I 100% agree with that. It really
right,
depends on the song and the artist and stuff like
exactly.
that.
I've
Yeah,
I've had to think about that though,
yeah,
because we've had to here in Denver we have to expand um to thinking like that because as far as R&B shows, back to your original question, do I think that Denver like holds it back? I think that the thing to think about is when there's a big R&B artist that comes into the city,
hmm
I've already sent an email. Like for instance, we got Bats coming, we got um who else? Kalani, uh we have these other bigger artists coming in to put an R&B artist on. I don't even feel I wouldn't even feel salty if my own artist was to wasn't to get on. If another R&B artist was to get on, I give them props. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? But
Just be happy to see somebody from the city.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Like on this last one, it kind of made me upset. I was trying to think about the artist. They put an Afro fusion type of guy on there, which I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like
wait, what are you talking about?
K Camp Show. That's
Oh,
what it was.
okay.
And it's cool. You know what I'm saying? I like the dude's music too. What's his name? EME or something like that. Um, I don't know what his name is. It starts with an E though. But I got a lot of hate because I I was like I shared the post and I was like, I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like an R&B artist should be on there for the K Camp show instead of an Afro fusion you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And people need to understand what the difference is, you know what I'm saying? Um music can be everywhere though. You know what I'm saying?
People got mad at you?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna mention no names, but like just people were kind of salty. A part of the people in his circle.
So it was
Uh,
like his supporters that they
right,
were like,
his
hey,
his circle, his
yeah,
immediate circle. They were
okay,
like, hey, you need to, I don't know if you could cuss on here, but you need to just
yeah,
chill out and
cuss all you want.
yeah, you'd be like, hey
Um,
man, you need to shut the fuck up.
so on that, you've had a few social media beefs. I feel like,
That's
um,
cool.
and you've got some hate here and there. And I think when you're kind of in the public eye or you're doing the type of job that you are, you get that kind of hate. How do you deal with that? Or like, what do you?
People need to understand that this is a business. Um, People need to understand that this ain't the streets. This is a business. I think that uh, I think when it comes to certain things I've done, it's a learning curve for myself. Just being completely honest, nobody's perfect. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's a learning curve, and you got to admit, I can admit when I'm wrong. You know what I mean? But I'm willing to take those wrongs and grow from there because that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Um, So I think that's the things that I think about, but I don't think it's worth like, oh hey, I'm gonna come shoot you or I'm gonna
So yeah,
come.
let's say I mean you work in well rap and R&B.
Right.
The shows you have like rap artists on it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rap artists from the city of Denver or gang related in some way. You kind of put yourself you you put yourself in a position where if everything doesn't go right, you got a lot of weight on your shoulders to you know what I mean. Like
Mhm.
you could be in a bad position like that.
Yeah.
Do you? I mean, I'm taking all the information here,
Yeah.
and
Go ahead.
you said you didn't. Music wasn't even on your radar in the beginning,
Yeah.
and now we've come all the way to a spot where, I mean, you could potentially be in danger sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, do you ever feel like that? You say that it's like just business. You know what I mean?
Right.
But do you ever feel like maybe it's not worth it, or there's something in there that's driving you to do this, no matter what the danger is?
Well, I look at this like two different ways, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's the best way I could put that. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Just the way that things are even structured on an interesting level out here is a little interesting to think about. And what I mean by that is, let's say something happens at the club, well, they're gonna shut that club down instead of blame the person. In Alabama, they gonna have something happen in the club, and they gonna be open the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause it's the politics is a little different. You know what I'm saying? Um, Out here in Denver, it's I feel like I look at it not differently, but I look at it like on a business level, security level as my job. Like it's either me or it's you. You know what I'm saying? And because that's survival at that point. You know. When it comes to the business side of it, though, it I don't think it has to be like that. I think if you're a grown man, I think that you should be able to come to the table and we work things out and try to peacefully talk things out. It doesn't have to go to violence. You know what I mean? Um, and it's interesting to even think about of certain aspects while I've been out here. I've seen people try to do peaceful things while out here, but they uh, will preach about peaceful things, but then behind closed doors, we're gonna do violent things. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's very interesting for me to even like see. It's almost hypocritical almost.
All
So
right. We'll kind of leave that part where it's at. I wanted to talk. So the being like a promoter, like putting on shows and stuff like that, that came. at some point. Well, I guess maybe did that go kind of hand in hand with like the management thing? Because with the management thing, you were like, oh, I gotta.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. I started throwing shows personally
Hmm.
because my artist was having a hard time getting on shows himself.
Okay.
Um, and then I saw other people having a hard time getting on other shows too. So it only made sense for me to start trying to.
Just have your own show.
Right. And
Yeah.
the thing is like you got other people out here that charge, $500, $1,500 a slot. I think that's backwards. You know what I'm saying? Like I hate charging artists personally, but um I think I think if the artist is good enough to put on the show, then based off of talent, they you should pay the artist instead. Whether that be like a percentage of the tickets they sell or just the talent themselves. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense.
Yeah, yeah. If we're talking about, because when it gets to like major recording artists, things change,
Right.
But let's say people in your community that you're working with, there's always been a lot of debates about whose responsibility it is to sell the tickets,
I think it goes both ways.
and then which direction the money goes and
Right.
things like that. So, how do you think an ideal show should work in Denver?
Well, I think the artist needs to play their part as well, promote the show. I think the promoter needs to put, you know, ever since I dipped into the promotion side as a promoter, I have talked to people who think, the ballpark area is like $50,000 to bring an artist out. So, the biggest example I'll give is like Boosie. You know what I'm saying? Like, we'll say something like that. The last serious promoter that sold out a show was Cardinal Clay, and that was for the Boosie show.
Yeah.
And before that, there hasn't been an independent promoter that has sold a show out. The
What
only people selling shows out is AEG and Live Nation.
were you saying that was his doing or Boosie's doing?
Well,
Like
I
some.
believe that it both played a hand, and the
Okay.
reason I say that is because obviously Boosie's name is big enough, but at the same time, I always think you need to spend at least $5,000 or $10,000 on marketing costs as a promoter just to make like bring people aware that the show is even going on.
For sure. And see, that's what I was kind of saying. Like a major artist, I feel like things work a little bit different because,
Hmm.
like, a name alone might be able to sell out a venue.
Well, the way
But
that also works is like you could say like, hey, let's say you're the artist and I'm the promoter, right? Well, I'd be like, hey, how much you charge? Oh, okay. Well, let's say you charge $10,000. Well, on top of that $10,000, you're probably gonna want to add like an ad budget because they got a bigger following in that area, so people are gonna see that. So when you do like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok ads, then they're going to be able to see that based off of, and they can give you permission. You don't even have to ask them. They can give you that role as through their management to
mhm.
make that happen.
Sure, I mean that's necessary because, like I was saying, you people might not even know, so
Right.
like they have to know that someone's here, things like
Exactly.
that. But I was kind of I wanted to talk about more on like the local level with like the local artists and
Oh.
things like that. Like, do you feel like the rules are a little bit different, with like let's say an emerging artist, an artist that has only been making
Yeah.
music for like a year or something like that? Like, uh,
So I think it comes with time.
what
Um,
would be your expectations for an artist? You're going to put them on a show. They've been making music for about a year, um, and I mean, how many tickets would you expect them to sell? Like, what would your expectations be for them?
well, it depends on how fast they're like growing, I guess. And the reason I say that is because like I'll throw like Quan Racked Up as an example. I don't know if you know who that is, but
Mm-mm.
he's a rapper out here, and I think that he's doing great with marketing himself. He's got a feature with, well, he's got Chicken P, who just got signed as a feature. Um, he's putting his money where it needs to be.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that that plays a serious role with growing as an artist, whether that be on the like with your marketing as an artist. So when I look at just like I guess like a local artist, I've talked to some where they're like, "Oh, well, I can only sell 10 to 15 tickets." Okay, 10, 15 tickets, that's better than nothing. You know what I mean?
What would that
But
be? You say that's better than nothing. Is that like kind of the minimum?
I I think so.
If somebody sells 0 tickets, is that okay?
I It's hard for me to say that.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because I can personally say that I've put my own money into tickets. Uh,
But then you're
to
bringing money to the
go
table,
in,
right?
huh?
I mean, if you say, sorry, what did you say? I thought you
Like
just,
I've paid for tickets to give away. You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
But then if you're
So,
buying the tickets,
right.
like you're still bringing money to the table, right? Which is
Right.
kind of the whole goal in the first place.
Right.
Um,
I feel like there's different angles you can look at. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say you want to sell 10 tickets, right? Well, me personally, some artists' budget is they'll buy the 10 tickets outright and then they'll go and give them away or go put them at, cookies or they'll go put them somewhere else. But a lot of these artists just ain't got the money to do that.
yeah, and I don't see anything wrong with that. If people
Uh-huh.
are just like they want to guarantee that they've got their spot,
Right.
so they're putting money in
Uh-huh.
and getting those tickets. But what if somebody comes with no money and no tickets to you? Let's say you're putting on a show.
Uh-huh.
You got 4 artists on it. One of the artists
Mhm.
just decided to sell no tickets and brought no money.
Well, I had that happen. I have had that happen. I had one artist, he told me that he sold one ticket, but he needed to use the money for gas to get to the event. And so somebody like me, I'd be like, okay, I understand. You know what I'm saying? Cause some of these people really ain't got no money. You know what I mean?
But do you think they'd have the ability to like hit up their friends and
Oh yeah,
fans and things like
everybody's
that and
got the
try to sell a
ability.
ticket?
They could go on Facebook, create a group for themselves, or create a thing through Instagram, and find out who their real fan base is. I think
Just hey,
that
you can get on your phone, you can make a
right.
video,
I
and
think that a
yeah,
lot of these people, and some of the problem with some of the shows here in Denver, because you'll kind of see, like I call it the wave effect, is what I call it. And what that is they'll wait for their favorite artist or whoever to show up, and
mhm.
then after that they'll just leave. They don't come there to enjoy the show as a whole. They just came to see one person and then they dipped out.
So as a promoter, do you care if people do that?
I care toward, yeah, for sure. I definitely care about that because what happens when you've spent a lot of money on the headliner to come out and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden the headliner comes out and there ain't
There's
nobody
nobody
there?
there. So what could you do to try to eliminate that? Is there anything that you can do?
Uh, well, you could put them at the end of the show. You can,
Just move people around, try to strategize it in
well,
some
I
way.
think that you got to bring some more. I think that we need to brainstorm out here
Yeah.
more as well, as far as putting money into the shows themselves. Whenever we're looking at, my favorite shows back in the day at Cervantes, I'll never forget it. I forgot what his name was, but something Ray. Anyway, he had like a background and they had like pictures and prop guns on the back of it, and I was like, man, that's so cool. I wish I could do something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's more of like a story at that point. You know what I mean? Or like a background to the show. And I don't think that promoters on the independent level are doing that. And I don't know if it's just because they don't want to or if they just ain't got that kind of money. I think even then we need to have like more sponsorship opportunities out here to be able to throw bigger shows. I know the money is out here. Denver, you got to be in the top like 10, 20% to live here in Denver, on a national average. You know what I'm saying? Like whenever you're looking at like things on a national level,
Are you talking
you,
about individuals or
yeah,
businesses?
individuals.
Like,
You know
and
what I'm saying?
they need to invest more into like the
Well, I think the businesses do. Yeah,
yeah.
not individuals themselves, but businesses. Yeah. I think that like, local businesses should, and that's how you build together at that point. You know what I mean? I don't think there's a lot of opportunities like that actually given, and it doesn't matter what kind of following you have. Which kind of led me to like what I started with, where the music scene used to not be the way that it is, because back in the day, let's say you said that your feature price was $10,000. Well, your feature price was $10,000, and that there was no moving it. That everybody's trying to like hustle to like work a deal out. You know what I mean? So, um, I think that I think when you do it, like I've learned, when you do it that way, that you're not going to get the full effect that you probably could have had. That person probably won't give you the same respect that they probably could have showed you at that point, um, for the money that they feel like they're valued at. Because now you're trying to like undervalue them, but you're the one hitting them up for the feature.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the features get kind of tricky. I was kind of wanted to go back because you said something about hitting like artists up as they come into town,
Yeah,
and that was to try to maybe get put like Mike on a show or something
right.
like that.
Yeah.
What's the how's that been? How have those conversations gone? Just like cold calling people like you are, like
I've been hung up on
yeah,
in the past by agents, like actual agents. Some people won't even give you the number. Um, that's for like bigger artists. But that just comes with it, man. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, you're gonna have really cool relationships doing that. That's how I became pretty good friends with her name is Melinda.
hmm
She's Pleasure Peas, Bobby Valentine. Um, who else does she manage? She manages like two, three other artists. But that's how I became pretty good friends with her. Was I was calling, I
yeah.
was trying to get to know how I could get an artist on the show. All of a sudden, I get in the circle and I'm hitting up Melinda Santiago, which is Pleasure Peace manager. You know what I'm saying? So from there, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm kind of starting to connect the dots a little bit, um, of what I can get out of this. You know what I mean? If I'm not having anybody conversate back, maybe I can create some sort of ally to like help me out with getting a hold of the right person. Then I ain't got to jump through a bunch of hoops in the future. You know what I mean? Then it's just a direct call at that point.
So it has
Um,
worked, I
yep,
guess. Yeah,
it's worked
you've
in
seen enough
certain
results
aspects.
from just like
Um,
reaching out to people.
I think that I think we need to get behind an artist out here
Yeah,
in Denver, whether that's AP, whether that's back on the Trev Ridge. Um, because down south, what happens is let's say an artist is like on fire or is doing really good. Well, we get behind that artist. Then after that, they create a lane for us to be able to do something in the future.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, because now that artist is hot and now they're gonna get signed. When I see stuff like that out here, I feel like there's a lot of hatred for some reason. Like people out of nowhere. Let's say somebody does get the potential to sign, well, then you're gonna have like people chattering, "Oh, this person did this person did that." You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Which
man, forget
yeah,
all
it's
that.
a crabs in a bucket thing that
Right.
everybody's always talking about out here. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like Denver doesn't support its people?
I feel like it could be better.
Yeah,
That's the best way I could put that. I feel like it could be a lot better. I feel like at one time I was a part of that circle too, but the more I started understanding the the bigger aspect of things, um, it was no longer about like hating certain artists or doing that. It's about just understanding the business more,
yeah,
because the people that are actually succeeding is actually eating at the top versus like a lot of people hating at the bottom. So the moment you do that, then you could go pretty far.
Shift your mindset.
Right, exactly.
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, just I think by supporting people, you're also kind of supporting yourself because, like you
Right,
said, they'll if they create the lane. I mean, they might do all the hard work for you. You
exactly.
know what I mean? And then shoot, now
Right.
you can just get picked up with them.
I think that I think Denver has the ability to have a lot done for them. I just think that like, the right people need to get off their ass
Yeah.
and like put those people and maybe help those people in a better position to understand it more. Um, that's just the best way I could put that. Yeah,
Do
because I
you don't
do
want to
know
say no
there's some.
names?
Yeah, because I know there's some people out here for sure. For sure,
Yeah.
they got a fire resume. They've been signed. They you know what I'm saying? That's what's so crazy about Denver is, we've had Denver has had a lot of people. People need to understand. People need to do their research on Denver. I feel like people
Yeah.
that are in the music scene, like on the R&B rap level, because even people from like the '90s, 2000s, you know what I'm saying? Like they could help the current generation
Okay.
of things of what's going on. You
You
know what I
you
mean?
you just kind of reminded me of Mile High Minutes list.
Yeah.
Came out what last month or the month before?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Um, how'd you feel about that?
Um. Well, I'm not a Denver native, so whenever I look at that, it just makes me want to like research those names more
Yeah.
on to understand the culture better around what they're looking at. Um. I What's so crazy is like there's people on that list and they be like, "Oh, hey, I made the list. That's cool," but like I ain't seen you in 5 years, homie.
Yeah, and I think it depends on the impact that they've made on the
Uh huh.
city. And I agreed with a lot of it. And there were some people that I had no idea who they were,
Mhm.
and it felt like I should have known who they were.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember like when I first started messing around with music in Denver, I'd hear all these names and stuff like that, but like there wasn't really, I guess this is before streaming services were really popular.
Mhm.
Like you couldn't even find these people anywhere. You
Right.
know what I mean? I don't they were selling like CDs out of their car type of thing, you know? And so it was like you could go to a show and a room of like 400 people would know all the lyrics to a song, but you couldn't find that song anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like it's either you had the CD that you bought off them directly or you were at the show listening to it.
Yeah.
So when we're like streaming, like views, all that stuff, it's
Mhm.
important because we know, you know what I mean? That's how you kind of measure that it's getting out there. But also, like some of those artists that were, making a lot of noise, like even 10 years ago, they don't have any of those views or any of those streams or anything like that, but they were very like important to the scene out here. There was a few of those people on there, and I think that was what confused some people because they were just like, I don't know who this is,
Right.
but they might have been like new to
Well,
it.
where are they?
Where are they
You know what
now?
I'm saying? Like, I feel like if, I a lot some of those names were signed. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Hmm.
you know, uh, it's kind of crazy in my mind. One of the groups that I grew up listening to, Flowbots,
Yeah,
is from Denver.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So whenever I'm like, wow, I really grew up listening to this one song. You know what I'm saying? The Handlebar song.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so whenever I think about it, I'm like, well, am I wrong for wanting to on the like what are we doing wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like why aren't those people helping the local
Oh, like yeah. Why
scene?
haven't Flowbots done anything
Yeah,
for like
like
the music scene?
right. And you know, I see like Top Flight, they have a business aspect with the concert app.
Which I think
That's
they've done a lot, a
right.
lot for up and coming artists
For sure.
out here.
I think the thing for those guys, I think like it's very concert driven. but they would probably tell you the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want certain information, you got to come and talk to them, or like some people that have that are it's just the more that I understand the scene more with like Grammy, like we have people in our own backyard here that are a part of the people that vote for the Grammys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where are they? Why aren't they teaching people the business?
Well, do you think they like it's a requirement, or do you think, or are you just
Well, I don't think it's a requirement, but I definitely think that Denver as a music scene needs that kind of outlet to be able to like ask questions, to have a better understanding of, hey, you made it this far, where am I struggling as an artist at?
so they should
You know,
give back in some way?
right. Um, maybe they forget where they like came from. You know what
Have
I'm
you
saying?
ever, since you be like, you know, cold calling people, have you ever hit up the Flowbots? Have you ever tried to get in touch with them?
I emailed them to try to see what they charge to throw a show, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's about it though.
Did they get back to you?
Yeah, they emailed me back pretty fast.
And they say some crazy number.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's pretty funny. Uh, and it's pretty crazy how much certain people charge. Like Legacy X, it's crazy. We did a show with Jace for Real, from Soul for Real, which is like the biggest song out here,
Yeah.
here in Colorado. But I think to bring him out here is like $2,500, $1,500. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can make that happen.
Yeah. And versus like you got places like Flowbots. I hardly ever hear their music out here. Maybe not as much, but
I feel like I don't want to be disrespectful, but I thought they kind of,
like panned out.
a little bit. Yeah, I thought they were kind of
Right.
done. Like they had a huge rise, and then they
Uh,
just kind of were,
well, I seen them recently do a show out here.
Yeah.
Like within the last like year and a half for sure. You know what I'm saying? But even like small acts like Jace for Real,
Hmm.
from Soul for Real, he still does stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
just because the whole everybody in the group quit doesn't mean like everybody quit.
for
You know what I
sure.
mean?
And I only hear about what I hear about, and I can only,
Right.
absorb so much
Yeah.
stuff.
And
So
I,
yeah,
I don't say that to disrespect them or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They had a great run. They did amazing. You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? But I do think that, for I think that Denver just needs to come together more is what I'm really trying to say.
Mm, yeah, I don't think you're alone in saying that. A lot of people agree with you.
Mm.
But all right. So we're at about an hour. We're a little over. Um, what's next for you?
Oh, well, I'm kind of falling back a little bit off the concerts themselves.
Yeah.
I am more looking into like the party aspect. Throwing some after parties next year.
Okay.
Um, uh, kind of going back to my roots. I feel like a little bit more. I'd like to get back into doing security for some artists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more like trying to enjoy doing this stuff instead of like have a headache doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
Find the things you like.
right, exactly. I'm getting older, so I ain't got time really for the bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm 30 years old. I'd like to just like travel and enjoy my life a little bit. And if I could give any type of advice, I think that people just need to be humble. You know what I'm saying? So,
That's good advice. It's always applicable.
right.
All right. Cool. We're gonna wrap it up. Any last things? Any last words?
Nope.
All right. Thank you, Cody. And I'll put all your links and everything like that in the description so people can check you out, hit you up, all that kind of stuff. Maybe people will have questions for you,
Yeah.
and you don't need to gatekeep them. You can tell them how to
Yeah.
do things. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool, man. Appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you for
No
being
problem.
here. Bye, everybody.